Hey everyone, we're back again for some more Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2 info. What's up, Killy?
Nothing much.
So, from our last video, you said we had a lot of patch notes from all the loc tests that are taking place in Japan right now for the arcade version of the game. So, we're going to go over these notes. Probably not all of them, right? There's probably a ton of notes.
Yeah, there's a huge list. I don't want to go over every point, otherwise this would take like hours.
Okay. So we'll summarize it, and just so you guys know, there will also be a link for the notes themselves in the video description below, as well as timestamps if you guys want to go just see your favorite character. Because I take it, even if we're going to summarize it, this video is still going to take a while, right?
Yeah.
So, Killy, let's get started. First off, is there any engine changes or any system notes?
Yeah, so they made a couple changes to the system. First off, they made a change to purple Roman cancels. So if you don't know what purple Roman cancels are, um, they're similar to yellow Roman cancels, but during the recovery of a move. So yellow Roman cancels, you would do a Roman cancel during the startup of a move, but purple Roman cancels, you do it during the recovery, in case you whiff something big, right?
Like, if you did something
Um,
unsafe, you can make it safe by canceling the ending part of it, and that would be like the purple.
you can make it safer. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're not punishable, right?
Okay.
But the actual change actually affects that because they've now made the purple Roman cancel start up about 5 frames, so it's on par with a yellow Roman cancel now. So
Oh,
that's a pretty big change because now it makes offense and defense kind of better as a result. So you can kind of swing a little harder and like if you whiff or whatever, you can like purple Roman cancel and now be like safe or something else, right? So I can see this change having a bigger impact than what people might initially think here.
and purple takes 50% tension, right? But the yellow takes 25?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next change they did is Roman cancels in general, like yellow, red, and purple. The buffer frames for the next move after an RC has been shortened. So there was like it was already a pretty large buffer to input like your next attack,
Mm-hmm.
but now they've extended this buffer, so it actually makes combos or pressure a lot easier for players now.
Okay. Just a quality of life
Uh,
change then.
yeah, it's pretty much that.
Okay.
Ground and air blitz shield received a change. It's actually possible to cancel normals into a blitz shield, which is pretty big. Um, so I'm assuming they kind of did this to uh, it gives more combo options, but also might be good against Baiken's guard cancels now. It's like a way to deal with her guard cancels. I could see that being used for that. Um,
This is the focus attack
depending,
move, right? Where you
yeah,
glow
yeah,
blue and you.
basically.
Okay.
But depending on how fast the cancel, like the how fast the blitz comes out after a cancel, I could see burst baiting being really vicious now.
Okay. Interesting.
Like you could like you sh I think it's gonna make it really hard to find like a safe burst spot because now like there are certain points in certain people's combos where you would burst after a certain normal because there's like so much recovery on the normal that that's like the opportune moment to burst.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can now cancel that into a blitz, that opportune moment not might not be safe anymore. So I could see like burst spinning being really vicious.
And you said you could do this in the air?
Yeah, you can do this in the
What
air
does it
too.
look like? Is it
Like
like at a
you can
downward angle?
like an air blitz shield. No, it's still the same. You're just in the air when you do aim blitz shield.
Weird. Okay.
But I can also see this creating new like combo options. But depending on how like the inputs work out, I could see this giving like accidental blitzes during like maybe an OS or for certain characters like Johnny who has to do a lot of miscancels or even Zato with the way he has to like negative edge Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of a concern there. One of the Japanese players, Kedako, who's a known Mei player, he also mentioned that this actually hurts armored moves because you can cancel your normal if you activate like a character's armor move, like Potemkin's Hammerfall,
Mm-hmm.
where he kind of charges at you. It has super armor added on it, So if you do like a normal and you activate like the armor point, you could cancel into Blitz and then Blitz his follow-up attack.
Okay.
So it's like it's an interesting change, and there's a lot of implications with this. So it'll be interesting to see how the meta evolves with it.
Mm-hmm.
They made a change for Blitz Shield charge attacks, and this is also pretty big. When a Blitz Shield has been cancelled into from a normal move, there's Force Paration on it. So this is a change to like when to the new other change that we just mentioned, where you could cancel the Blitz. So when you're using it in combos, there's now Force Paration on it. And when I say Force Paration, it's like a property on a move like normal or special, where regardless of where you are in a combo, whether it's like the first hit or the 16th hit, that move will automatically reduce the damage of your combo by that force prorated amount. Usually it's in like a percentage. So
It's like damage
say
scaling.
like yeah, it's just a form of damage scaling. So you generally want to avoid using force paraded moves in a combo, like middle of your combo, to reduce the damage scaling, or even at the start, because you don't want to force like too much damage scaling.
Does the
right off the
proration
bat.
affect when they flip out of a combo too?
No,
It's just
not
damage?
that I'm aware of. Anyways, I could be mistaken.
Is this to compensate because now you have a better combo tool to get into this now? So they just
I wouldn't
wanna-
say a better combo tool. You just have a different combo tool.
Okay.
And plus, like when you hit someone with a Blitz Shield charge attack, you take away some of their burst meter.
Oh, I didn't know
So, so you don't want to kind of like make that too overpowered.
that. Okay.
So this is another change they made to charge blitz attacks. Normally, when you do like a charge blitz attack, if you charge it for a certain amount of time and you hit someone, it crumples, right? And then when you do when they're in this crumpled state, if you have another 25 meter, you can charge another blitz. And if they're close to the corner, if you hit them with that second charge blitz attack, they wall splat or wall stick. And so when I say wall splat, they like stick to the wall, and then they kind of slowly slide down after a period of time.
Yeah.
And it's just like a really good combo tool. So now they changed it, or that second time you do a blitz attack after that crumple state, it no longer causes that wall stick effect, and then they replace it with like a blowback effect.
Oh, okay.
And they reduce the untechable frames, so it won't cause a knockdown anymore. And
Okay,
I think
so
they
they're just
did this
reducing
because,
some of the combos then?
well, not necessarily reduces some of the combos, but I also think it limits the fact that you can take away so much burst meter from them, and then get like a fat combo afterwards.
Gotcha.
What else did they change? Danger time. Oh god, it's such a stupid change.
They still haven't got rid of this damn thing yet?
No, they didn't. They actually buffed it.
Oh no.
So when danger time happens, both players get an amount of tension meter.
Oh, so wow. So if the danger time happens, someone's gonna lose the round, basically.
No, not necessarily, but it means they want people to go on the offensive.
I guess it helps too.
Yeah.
Like if you run into danger time and you have no tension, and the other guy does have tension, you're in like so much trouble, right? You're in like insane.
Depending
danger.
on what the situation of when you activate danger time, like
Yeah.
depending on what moves clash, you could be in a bad situation. So if you get a little bit of meter,
Yeah.
or a lot of meter, you might be able to like wire C to get yourself to safety.
In case you guys don't know what danger time is, it's like when both characters hit their attacks collide. There's like a small chance that danger time will activate randomly, and then pretty much every hit is like a fatal counter.
Yes.
For a certain duration of time, and
Yeah.
it's like
So there's like
automated hype, and yeah.
it's
Nobody
a
likes
really bad mechanic. Nobody
likes it. Nobody
No-
likes it.
none
And
of
it's
the players
RNG
likes
based.
it.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no guaranteed condition on when danger time occurs. It is completely random.
It's like playing Marvel 3, then all of a sudden, you both activate level 3 X Factor for no reason. You're just like, what's going on? Danger time.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the next change is actually really good. They
Okay.
changed wall splats or wall sticks. So when you're recovering from a wall splat, like the animation where you slide down and then you recover, there's increased throw invulnerability.
Okay.
And the reason they did this is that this is a strictly get rid of what they call Garo Supe setups. And the way they work, it's like a pseudo unblockable option select, where after a wall splat, the opponent would do, like certain characters, they would do an attack and a command grab that would hit at about the same frame.
Uh-huh.
But in that situation, a command grab would take priority over the hit.
Okay.
So Ramlethal and Zato players are the ones who could really take advantage of this. So like Ramlethal would combo into a wall splat because her combos naturally do that in the corner, and then she would like set up a sword and then she'd go for a command grab at the same time. So if the person tries to like jump out of the command grab, the sword would hit them. But then if they sit there and block, the command grab would catch them.
And they
So
can't
it's like,
throw you because the command grab takes priority over the grab.
exactly. So it was like a pseudo unblockable.
Gotcha.
There were like certain ways to get out of it. There's character dependent and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
it was basically a pseudo unblockable option select. So
Sick.
this change to wall splats now gets rid of that.
Okay.
So you could say it's an indirect nerf to Ramlethal and Zato.
Interesting.
So they made some miscellaneous like visual effect changes. So they've added like alternate camera angles on command grabs, like it kind of
That's
zooms
cool.
in on certain command grabs. Also, Kiriko was mentioning how like the screen shakes more on certain hits, and he like goes into it in more detail, and it kind of sounds bad. It might be.
Yeah.
It's just like it's kind of throwing people off a little bit.
I know
So
you're
they have
not
to
a
kinda,
fan
like,
of the shaky cam movies, Killy.
No, I'm not.
So,
So
shaky
so
cam
it's
and
just like
Guilty Gear.
visual changes that might not stick.
That's cool.
So that's all the system mechanic changes. So there's a lot that are good and a lot that can has an impact on the meta or could have an impact on the meta.
Yeah.
Um, so it'd be interesting to see what happens from there. But should move on to character changes.
All right.
So just a heads up, like Arxis already said that they didn't, like they didn't implement all the changes they want to do within the first location test because they have other location tests planned.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some characters that did get a lot of nerfs, but I'm thinking like it's probably not all the changes they want to implement. I think they're just
Oh.
like testing certain things first.
Mm-hmm.
So even though like I'm gonna list characters that sound like they got nerfed a lot, I wouldn't kind of overreact just now and see what happens later on in the second location test.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, at the end of this, after the first location test, they have like a feedback form, so I'm sure like all the players there kind of gave their input.
Okay.
So first character we're gonna go over is Soul, and the first nerf he got is his 5k. The startup has been increased. And this caused like
Is standing
a huge this caused like a huge uproar in the
Why?
Guilty Gear community, because the thing is like this move has been 3-frame startup for like
Wait, there's 3
17
framers
years.
in Guilty Gear?
Yes.
What? I thought the fastest normals were like 5.
No, fastest normal is very rare, but there's a couple people that have 3-frame normals.
Oh, what the? Okay. Okay, so his standing kick is 3. All right.
So the setting, his 5k has been 3-frame startup for like 17 years. so
Oh my
this is like
god, dude.
a big deal to them because they're like, it's like to them it's like removing invulnerability on DPs.
Yeah. It's the equivalent. It's not Guilty Gear anymore, guys. Soul standing kick is not 3. It's not Guilty Gear anymore.
Because his 5k is like meme status. There's
Yeah.
like so many memes on like how this move is 5. There's 3 frames.
Yeah.
Like the priority and how good this move is.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Dude.
I don't know how much they increase the startup. Like if it's just by like 1 frame,
Yeah.
the overall application is still going to be the same. So
Yeah.
it's like
It's just not 3.
not as big as the deal.
Oh, fuck,
But we'll
that's
see.
funny.
If it's like anything more than like 1 frame,
Yeah.
that's going to affect Soul.
That's hilarious. Okay.
His 6H no longer causes a knockdown on hit, which is kind of big. I think in Sign that's how it behaved, but I can't remember.
Mhm.
So as a general nerf, this other change he got is kind of funny. It's not really a nerf, but it's gonna nerf like bad Soul players.
Okay.
His command grab, Wild Throw, if you have any type of up input, so like 7, 8, 9,
Yeah.
during the input of Wild Throw, it won't come out. So it has to be a precise DP input.
Why do they do that?
I have no idea.
That's hilarious. Okay.
So yeah, so
no
bad Soul
leniency
players
whatsoever.
who can't do like proper DT inputs, you're
Yeah.
not gonna get Wild Throw.
Shit. So
But they
avoid
did
playing
give it
Soul if you use pad, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, they gave it like a new camera effect, so it kind of like zooms in
Oh shit.
when they do it. His other changes are like very minor, so I'm not gonna bother going over them.
Yeah.
They don't really buff him too much, but it's just to make some things consistent.
Okay.
But overall, I'd say like Soul's nerfed. The nerfs don't seem too drastic, but it just seems kind of suspicious why they would nerf certain things of him. Because like Soul is a very he's good, but he has to take risk to open people up.
Okay.
So they didn't really like address his problems. Like nothing here really helps him out in his bad matchups. And so it's like I don't know why they would nerf that Soul that much.
Okay. Gotcha.
Just seems kind of weird. Okay, so moving on to
Wait, before
Kai.
you move on, where was
Okay.
give me a little like tier list sample. Like where Soul was in Rev 1.
Rev 1, I'd say he's like
Just say like high, mid, low.
I think he's like mid,
Mm-hmm.
upper mid maybe.
Okay.
Probably around like middle of the pack here.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on to Kai.
Your boy.
His
One of your boys.
Yeah, my former boy.
Yeah.
His 6H, they changed it into a new move.
What's with them in 6Hs, man?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
But his 6H is like his current 6H is like
Does he stick out his sword with both his hands forward?
it's kind of like he kind of not throws the sword, but like he does this 2-hit attack with his sword.
Oh, that's the one you use as a meaty.
Yes. So
Yeah, I remember
that's
that
like
stupid
what he
move.
had back in like Midnight Carnival and like a bunch of other.
Yeah, you did that shit all the time.
games.
Yeah.
So its current use is like you knock down, you throw it as a meaty because it's like active for so long. It's plus on block and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So the footage I've seen, what it looks like is basically his blitz attack into 3H, which is like kind of janky from an animation perspective. I don't know why they really changed it. But behavior-wise, it's pretty much the same as his old 6H. On hit, it forces crouching just like his current 6H, so you can still do like same combos. So, but I don't know what the frame advantage is like in comparison to his old 6H. The player said it's like roughly the same or feels the same to them, but the range on it seems kind of shorter, so maybe it can't be used as a meaty tool against like characters with good reversals. I'm not sure, but it kind of seems like very minor overall. So the other change he got is when you do 5D, so his dust attack, and you YRC it, it still creates a projectile, but the hit is a high instead of like an overhead. So a mid is what we is what we consider an overhead, but a high is like you can block it crouching.
Why would they do that?
Well, otherwise you get an unblockable. If you did 5D YRC and then 5K, that would be an unblockable because.
So
5D
what's the
would
problem
hit
with that?
overhead.
It's fucking Guilty Gear, man.
You can't have unblockables all the time. They're actually like trying to nerf unblockables
Oh
in general.
fuck. Okay.
But this is like
That's funny.
this is new, right? Like before, if you 5D YRC, nothing would come out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now it's gonna create the grinder seal, so it's gonna create the projectile, but it's not an overhead, right? In that situation.
Okay. Boo.
So it's just like it's an interesting change.
Okay.
He has another change of his stun edge. It's like basically like a Yoga Flame change where the hitbox is like consistent all the way through instead of changing or fluctuating as it travels.
Okay.
So it's like minor. So that's all the changes for
That's
Kai.
it? For Kai?
Yeah.
What the
Yeah,
fuck, man?
He's still the same, like nothing really major. And still have to see what like the 6H change, but I don't think it's gonna be that big.
Okay.
So yeah. Nothing major with Kai. Still the same.
Okay.
So not nerfed, not buffed, just kind of the same.
Tier list?
He was like high tier.
So he's higher than Soul.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't have a good tier list offhand to refer to. I can only really know who like top tier are and who are the low tier.
All right,
are.
so don't yell at Killy, guys. He's just giving. He's just saying whatever.
Okay. Okay. So next character is May.
May. I always wanted to learn May, by the way.
She's pretty cool.
I used to spam the dolphin move in the arcades. I think I've told you this a million times. But it made people kick machines. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kelly.
I remember the kicking of the machine.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so her charge 6p now has upper body invincibility. So if you do 6p regularly, it has upper body invincibility, but she had the ability to like charge it.
Is that the punch move?
Yeah.
She leans forward and punches, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you're charging, she doesn't have upper body invincibility, but now she does.
So it's an anti-air all the way through now.
Yeah, well, it's mostly like that change means she can like easier timing to go through projectiles. So if someone's like trying to zone her, she can use 6p to go through projectiles, and that was just like an easier way to kind of get through it. Also, kind of good as like a counter poke tool.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So it's like it's not a major change. Like I can see some good situational uses for it, but it's like nothing major.
Okay.
Her command grab, she now recovers in an airborne state. So there's like new combos off of it.
Okay.
But Kirako, the known Mei player, he doesn't really like the change. It's like something is kind of off, and it kind of hurts some of her her existing combo opportunities. So he feels like the change is kind of like a nerf.
Okay.
They also increased the window for canceling into a normal from her dolphin ride. So she'd like jump on she would set up a dolphin. If you were to jump on the dolphin, she would ride it, and then you could like cancel into a normal. I guess the timing on it was stricter before. Now it's a lot easier. So it's like quality of life change. Good Mei players never really noticed like the difficulty of it, so they don't care.
Okay.
So looking at her changes overall, like that's all of them. Looking at her changes overall, they're kind of like minor. Kirako feels like she got nerfed overall with that overhit with her command grab changes, and then the 6p doesn't really matter, right? So, but I overall like I think it's very minimal what they did with her.
So just tell them to get good.
Okay. Yeah. So moving on to Millia.
Wait, tier list.
Oh, tier list. I think she was like mid, upper mid maybe.
I have a feeling you're gonna say this about a lot of characters.
I can't remember like the middle of the pack characters, to be honest.
Okay.
Okay, so Millia. This is a character that got changed a lot in this location test.
She looks so annoying to play against, man.
Yes.
Is she the most mix-up heavy character in the game?
There's like a lot of Oki characters in the game. I wouldn't say a lot, but like there's multiple Oki characters.
Are her like overheads like reactable? They don't look reactable.
They're hard to react. It's just because she has so many different options. You have to guess.
She's got that dumb blue orb that's like meaties you while she's like not. She's completely free to move. You got the stupid moon move that goes down. It's like an instant overhead, and then you got the disc that's also a meaty, so she can freely act.
Yeah.
Like it's too much, man. Sorry.
That's like the basis of her game. Knock you down, set up the disc on top of you, and then mix you up from there. I mean, there are defensive options to get out of it, but you have to make like educated guesses. But overall, she got like a good mix of buff and nerf. So the first one is her jump H. It's completely new. So her old jump H is like that
helicopter hair, right?
Yeah.
It's
so
like
it's like that spinning helicopter move. Yeah, and it would cause a knockdown on hit, and like no matter where you hit this in the air, it's like always a knockdown. It was just like autopilot knockdown into Oki.
Auto Oki.
So they completely got rid of the normal. They changed the normal altogether.
Okay.
So it doesn't cause a knockdown now. It's actually like the animation for it is she does this like large horizontal hit. Like basically her hair turns into a sword similar to her jump does, and it does this like swing. She does like a swing with it in the air.
Okay.
And so it has a good horizontal hitbox on it,
Yeah.
and it can cross up now.
Oh, okay. So it does have a
But
use.
yeah, it has a use. It does
Okay.
one hit, and it doesn't cause a knockdown, but there's other applications for it. So that's kind of pretty big. So this is kind of like, it is mostly a nerf, but also it's a slight buff because now she has like a cross-up tool. Like she had cross-up setups, but this is just like a new cross-up tool. But it's not a big deal because she received a new special move. So she gets like a second hairpin with H. So her current hairpin was with S or slash. She has another one with heavy slash.
What was the big deal about her hairpin anyways? I always see him use it, but what is this move for? Like,
the problem is it's a neutral tool. It's a combo tool and it's a neutral tool.
Okay.
And it's really and a pressure tool. Like it served everything. It was so good. Basically, when Millia has the hairpin stocked and she's in the air, you have to respect her in the air.
Okay.
Because if you try to like approach or anti-air her, she could throw the pin out and counter hit you. And if she counter hits you, she gets a full like combo starter into a knockdown.
How does she pick it back up?
She has to be on top of the pin and she has to crouch.
Okay.
And then she'll pick it up. So the new H pin hits at a more like shallow angle. And the Japanese have already figured out new combo routes where she can still get a knockdown using the H pin. So she has one pin that she can use for neutral, and then now the other pin to use as a combo to get her knockdowns. Now she can't corner carry you as hard as she could now.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of making Millia more of a fair character with all her Oki options. So she doesn't get as much damage, she doesn't corner carry you as hard, but she still has means to like set up Oki.
Okay.
You have to be like more creative and smarter on how to get your knockdowns into Oki now.
Okay.
So one of the other changes she got is her Bad Moon, like that spinning disc move. At higher heights actually causes a knockdown.
Wait, that's the one where she turns into a moon, right, and goes downwards, like a dive kick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I thought it always caused a knockdown.
When you TK it would cause a knockdown, but like at higher heights, not really.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's a change. There's some other changes, but I don't want to go over everything. Like she got a lot of changes.
Man.
Yeah. But the other good change she got is chroming rose. So the super where she would, whenever she does a move or moves around, it creates like a flower on the screen.
Yeah.
When she gets hit, when she has that super, it goes away. The super goes away.
Ooh.
So that's a nerf. But that was warranted because that was BS. That super was so BS.
Okay.
Think of it as like
you'll hit her and then you'll get hit by one of the flowers by accident. It'll drop your combo.
Yeah. So it like completely deactivates the super. Like she no longer has the property. Like right now, if you hit her while she has Chroming Rose activated, she still has like the full effect of Chroming Rose. So it means like when she recovers, she can still create those flowers on the screen.
Okay.
So think of that super like zero, like MVC3 zeros. So Genmu, like that thing is BS.
Okay.
So this is like a nerf, but it was a warranted nerf.
Gotcha. Justice has been served.
Yeah, so those are all the changes I want to go over Millia, but overall she got a good mix of buffs and nerfs, and I still think she'll end up being like a top tier character.
So she's a top tier character.
Yeah, right now she's top tier. And I don't think these changes is going to change that at all.
Okay.
I think she'll still be a top tier character.
Okay.
Moving on to Zato. Yeah, this guy. they made some really interesting changes to Zato. Basically, they kind of nerfed his combo output, like combo potential, but they buff his zoning. So. He has 3 specials that now create a shadow puddle when you activate them, and the shadow puddle is like it's like it creates a puddle on the screen, like on the ground, and he can summon Eddie from that puddle. So normally people would like summon Eddie from the puddle and do his anti-air attack.
Yeah,
and it's like this huge hitbox, right? So. The direction they're going with Zato is basically we'll nerf his combo output, but buff his zoning.
Okay.
So it's pretty interesting. So like the three moves that he can create a shadow puddle from, or break the law. So that's when he kind of goes into the ground and he hides in a puddle, and then he can move around for a limited amount of time before coming back out. So that
Okay.
creates a puddle now. Shadow Gallery. So that's the one where he goes into the ground, then he pops up and he does like an attack. That creates a puddle
The shark one?
on startup, like where he goes straight up,
Okay.
like where he goes straight into the ground, disappears, and then comes back up.
Okay.
And then when he summons Eddie and then he hides Eddie, that creates a puddle now.
Okay.
So basically, shadow puddles everywhere.
Oil sands, man, Alberta. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's all the changes for Zato. Well, not all the changes. He had a couple more, but I don't want to go over everything.
But more zoning, less combos.
Yeah, that's basically the direction they're going.
Okay.
So actually, one other thing I want to go over Shadow Gallery. It doesn't cause a wall splat in the corner, which is a pretty big nerf. It'll cause a wall. He goes like a wall bounce.
Oh, okay.
So he's gonna lose corner positioning, and some combos won't work anymore.
Okay.
Which is kind of bullshit because he get a wall splat and he could combo into that like multiple times and get a hard knockdown into all sorts of BS. But
gotcha.
Yeah. So overall, I think this is kind of like a warranted change, and the way the direction of Zato is pretty good.
Okay.
So right now in the tier list, Zato is like high tier. Kind of like breaching top tier, but not quite, I think.
Gotcha.
So the changes, I could see him kind of a little bit lower on the tier list.
Okay.
But still, like, we'll see how that goes. Like the zoning got buffed a lot, so that might be a big change.
Okay.
Moving on to Potemkin. They made some interesting changes with him. His crouching animation and his crouching guard animation has changed, and they lowered his hitbox.
Okay.
So I think it's more of like to kind of make him less susceptible to like instant overheads, but we'll see.
Okay.
Plus, there's certain moves that would like Potemkin would end up being able to block crouching that would normally whiff on other characters.
Okay.
So I don't know if this hitbox lowering is going to change that or not.
So people don't get like extra block strings on him and shit.
Yeah, so we'll see though. I'm not entirely sure if that got changed. Like if this change affects that.
Okay.
His heat knuckle special, where he like anti-airs you, it's like an anti-air command grab, has more priority on it. So he's going to be able to use it more consistently as an anti-air. But it also knocks the opponent up higher afterwards. So I don't know if this is a nerf, right? Because they didn't say that they increased the untechable time. So I wonder if the opponent can air tech out of heat knuckle normally now. And if they can, that's going to be a huge nerf to Potemkin.
Okay.
Because right now it causes a knockdown.
I see.
So I have to see whether that's what the change does or not, or if it still causes a knockdown, then it's like no big deal.
Okay.
His flick. So this is a move where he can flick projectiles, and then it creates a projectile of his own that travels slowly. So he uses it as a shield. So that flick move can now be held down and charged.
Okay.
And when he's charging it, it will reflect both projectiles and regular attacks. So that's pretty significant. And I think the reason they did this is specifically for the Sin matchup, because Sin has a move called Beak Driver, where he just basically like stabs with his staff. That's a nightmare for Potemkin. Like he has such a hard time maneuvering around that. So I think the charge flick is like their Arxis's answer to that.
Okay.
He has one other change. It's a quality of life change. They changed the Trishula input to 214K instead of like half circle motion. But I think that's kind of bad because you might get more accidental Trishulas now.
Okay.
We'll see. But that's all the changes for Potemkin. Might be a slight buff or it could be nerfs depending on how that heat knuckle change is. The crouching animation is probably not a big deal, but we'll see. But the flick change is nice. So overall, I don't think he's changed too much, and right now he's bottom tier in the tier list.
Okay, that's funny.
But I think the changes to Potemkin is more or less like a way to kind of deal with Sin. But we'll see how much they impact them overall. Maybe there's more changes he gets in location test too. We'll see.
Okay.
Moving on to Chipp. They're kind of minor situational buffs and some quality of life changes, like wall cling cancels from special moves automatically occur if you hold a button. So, like, nothing major. Let's see. His Alpha Blade now receives dash momentum. So dash momentum is like when you're dashing or running and you do a special move, it would carry that momentum of your dash and apply it to your special move. But grounded Alpha Blade didn't. Now they do that. So it's like situational uses.
Which one's the Alpha Blade? Is it the uppercut?
The one where he just travels across the ground.
He dashes forward instantly?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he has a follow-up after a move on the grounded version where he kind of swings back and hits you with the elbow.
Yeah.
On counter hit now, it changes to a ground tumble.
Oh, okay. So you get rewarded.
Kind of big because you get a combo afterwards.
So if they're mashing buttons in between.
Yeah. So it's like overall these are kind of situational buffs. He has a few other situational buffs, but I don't want to go over every single one of them.
Okay, when you're doing that follow-up move, like what can you do to, like, if they say they don't press buttons, is there anything they're threatening they have to worry about?
No, because if they block or instant block the follow-up, Chipp is punishable. But they can like wire C it afterwards, or like choose not to do it and then just kind of like reset to neutral. So it's just kind of like okay, it's a nice buff, but like doesn't do a whole lot.
Gotcha.
Like it's situational. That's the thing. Like,
it's just more rewarding if you do happen to land it.
Yeah, as a counter hit. So it's like it's a buff, but it doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
So that's all the changes I kind of want to go over with Chipp. He's high tier right now, and I see these changes not really impacting that. Like I still think he's going to be a high tier character.
Okay.
Moving on to Faust. He got two changes. First one is his 5D now reflects projectiles, and the returning projectile turns into a baseball.
Oh, so because his launcher is a baseball bat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this like a joke buff or what?
No, it's a way for him to deal projectiles.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Against Elphelt, it was a nightmare for him when Elphelt was like full screen. She pulls out the sniper rifle. Like Faust can't do anything about that. Okay. He just gets zoned the fuck out.
All right.
It was like really bad.
Okay.
It's so bad when you see that happening. So I don't really see this change like really impacting that, but like I can see certain other matchups like Bedman, for example, he can reflect like Bedman's projectiles.
Okay.
Just gives him another option.
Yeah.
Now the major change that he got here is his items now have RNG percentage to turning into an upgraded item, and they're like crazy upgrades. The most notable ones are like his bomb. It turns into a firework if it gets upgraded. So like it goes up and then explodes into like a firework.
Are you gonna know that it's upgraded? Like is the opponent gonna know right away?
I don't know about the bomb, but some of the other ones are very noticeable.
Okay.
The mini Faust is crazy. It turns into a large ass mini Faust. You would think, oh, doesn't that mean he turns into Faust? No, it's like mini Faust but huge, and it like tanks hits or something.
Okay.
Like it's just when it's out, you gotta block.
Okay.
It's so annoying. It's so big.
Okay.
And the other major one is his meteor. So when he throws meteors, right now it just like rain after a set amount of time. It rains down multiple meteors. Now, if it gets upgraded, it is a gigantic ass meteor in your face, and you just gotta hold that L.
Like Time Mage meteor.
Yeah, it's just retardedly big.
Okay.
Like, oh my god. So yeah,
And okay, do these
Oh,
upgraded versions do they have the same amount of chance to happen as all the other things? Like, is it all everything the same
I don't
chance?
know the percentage of like it seems like it would be even a smaller percentage of them
Yeah,
happening, I think.
I'd hope so.
Otherwise it's just too OP.
Yeah. Okay.
So overall, like these are interesting changes.
Hmm.
I think it's just like, well, Faust is kind of the same Faust for like 17 plus years, so let's kind of mix it up. Like the only thing that really changes from Faust over the years is like obviously combos, some combos, and like what items he gets.
Uh
And
huh.
so this is just like another one of those type of changes. So
Okay.
it's like just to keep them kind of interesting, I guess.
Hmm. Cool.
Faust in the tier list, I think he's like definitely upper mid,
Hmm.
and I don't really see that changing with these changes. Might
Okay.
he might go up slightly, who knows, based on like the nerfs on other characters.
Hmm.
But again, it's location testing; things can change. So moving on to Axel, they've made a lot of changes to Axel too,
Okay.
both good and bad. First change he got is he got more cancelable frames on his 5P and 5H, so this is going to make some combos easier, but also gives him like more frame trap potential.
Okay.
Because most of his specials are charge moves, so it just gives you that extra timing to get charge.
Okay.
He has two new air normals. So he's got a jump 6K and a jump 2S. Jump 6K kind of hits at a higher, like 45-degree angle,
Hmm.
while jump 2S hits like diagonal down. And they have their own Gatling routes, so he has like new combo potential as a result.
Cool.
The major change he got is to his Sparrowhawk stance. So Sparrowhawk stance is where he goes into, he pulls out both chains, he starts spinning one around, and then he
Also,
had
a
like three
flurry of
follow-ups.
attacks start happening.
Yeah, he has like three follow-ups. One that hits high, like anti-air. One that hits mid, so it hits kind of like in between.
Hmm.
And then one that hits more at a lower angle. Obviously, it's not a low attack, but it hits at like a lower angle. And he could like cancel into these one after another or stagger them.
Okay.
And it's like a really annoying special move.
Hmm.
And it's like basically it's like to test whether your opponent has done their homework on this move because this move has like extended hurt boxes and stuff like that. So if you've done your homework, you know how to deal with it. You know how to beat it. You know how to counter it and stuff like that. So it wasn't really like a great move to begin with. But
Hmm.
if the opponent didn't do their homework, they just flat out lose to this move.
Okay.
So they completely changed this move. The first attack after entering the stance comes out faster now.
Hmm.
But after you block one attack, the attack is done. You cannot cancel into any other attack. It's just that's it. It's
Mm.
done. And the recovery is about on par when you do like the current version where you do 5 attacks. He has like extended recovery when he puts away the chains.
Hmm.
So the recovery after that one attack on blocks is about the same. So that's a pretty big nerf.
So they just don't want him
Um,
spamming this move or relying on it.
yeah, they also felt like in the interview with the director and Daisuke, they said like they wanted to rework Axel because they felt like even though he was like a zoning Dalsum type character, he still felt like weak versus projectile characters.
Okay.
Also, in Sparrowhawk stance, if you charge it for about 3 seconds, the attack becomes unblockable.
Okay.
And there's like a visual yes that kind of pops out
Yeah.
to let you know that it's unblockable. So the current way that the stance works has been completely changed. So I think people just have to figure out what to do with this new version of Sparrowhawk stance. Might be like more of a poking tool rather than a zoning tool.
Hmm.
So Axel is like low tier character.
Oh,
Like
really? Okay.
lower, I say like lower mid. So these changes, like I don't think that's really changing that as well. So it's kind of we'll see, but it doesn't. That Sparrowhawk stance change seems kind of bad right now.
Okay.
So moving on to Venom. Venom got some interesting changes. If you do Stinger aim and you hold down, it adds backspin to the ball.
Which move?
Stinger. So that's the one where he like instantly shoots out a projectile, but you could like hold it slightly to
Oh.
kind of charge it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, now if you hold down, it'll add backspin.
Cool.
If you do Carcass Raid, which is the one where he kind of shoots the ball towards the ground and then it bounces up.
Hmm.
If you hold back, it adds backspin as well.
Oh, so
So there's a
different
lot
angles.
more. Yeah, so there's now more moves that cause backspin, so that's going to change up like pressure, combos, all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Oki, like it's kind of interesting. His 2H is completely different now. So
Okay.
before he kind of like shoots his pull Q at like a 45-degree angle. There's like a mediocre anti-air.
Mm-hmm.
They changed it where he kind of, it looks like in the Famitsu magazine scans, he like hits up first and then
Mm-hmm.
he hits down. Like it's kind of weird. It's hard to describe it, but it's like they changed it. I don't know. I don't know if it's good or bad,
Mm-hmm.
but it's different.
Okay.
Um, so this is changes. That's all his changes. They're very subtle, but it opens up a little bit more opportunities for him.
Mm-hmm.
Right now he's kind of low mid, and with these changes, as well as along with the other changes of the characters, he might go up slightly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's everything on Venom. Moving on to Slayer. Oh, these Slayer changes are nuts. He got two changes. One is his 2S got buffed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some hitbox changes, so it's like better frame on it, better like hitbox on it. But the next change is what's the crazy one is his command grab. After you land the command grab, there's a
Mm-hmm.
period of time where certain special moves become a counter hit.
That was like that before, or is it like that now?
No, no, that's how it is now.
Oh,
Like after the location test, this is how
okay.
they're changing it. So this is a crazy buff to his command grab
Mm-hmm.
because you go command grab. Well, it depends. We don't know all the special moves that get a counter hit properly, but we're speculating that his pile bunker is going to receive this. So in theory, he could probably go command grab, Roman cancel, pile bunker, and he gets the counter hit property, and it's gonna wall stick, and
Ew.
then it's just like Bips town from there.
So the so
Just so
the
much damage.
so the idea because he's biting you, right? So he's like stealing your your source, and he's being powered up. Is that the idea behind it?
I don't know why they did this change.
Okay.
It's so nuts. It's
Okay.
such a like scary change
All right.
for Slayer,
Uh huh.
because like the command grab is kind of meh right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's situational use, and it's just the threat of a command grab. But now
Okay.
it's like you got to be really scared of the command grab now.
Okay.
Because like depending on what counter hit, what special moves get that counter hit property, it's gonna open up a lot more damage for him, and it's gonna
Okay.
be very scary when you're in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
especially if pile bunker gets the counter hit
Mm-hmm.
property. So like overall subtle buffs minus the command grab, which is a crazy buff. So yeah, right now I think Slayer is considered like low mid,
Mm-hmm.
something like that, or middle of the pack. Can't remember. He got a lot of good buffs in uh, Revelator 1.1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that command grab buff alone is just gonna like it's just one extra tool he has that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna super change the impact of Slayer. Like Slayer's just one of those characters that are scary in the corner and stuff like that. So overall, I think he's probably gonna go up because of the nerfs other characters got
Mm-hmm.
if these changes stick, right? But overall, I don't really see him fluctuating too much. So moving on to Ino,
Okay.
Ino got some crazy buffs. She has a new air dash sequence. So when you're doing the hover dash,
Mm-hmm.
if you input 3 or diagonal down, she kind of goes downward at a like diagonal down. So
Okay.
basically she can like try jump.
Oh, interesting.
So
Cool.
she's like Magneto now.
That's cool.
So that's a crazy change on her. I don't know why they give her that, but yeah, I don't know what it like. I don't know how fast it is and stuff like that. Like
Mm.
whether it'd be as crazy as a try jump, but yeah, that's basically what they gave her.
Cool.
Her far slash and her 5D, if you wire see it, it still creates the projectile. They're non-overhead, so they hit high.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a crazy buff to her far slash because it's gonna give her new pressure opportunities. So rather than like in current situations, rather than like kind of resetting in sort of a neutral situation or doing like a risky um, not follow up, like risky pressure situation. She could go far slash Y or C, create a projectile, force someone to block, and then go in.
And then try jump them.
Yeah.
Okay.
She got one nerf. Her anti-air command grab no longer has throw box behind her. So she had like these tech traps in her combos where she would do the anti-air command grab, and then if you teched, you would get command grabbed. But the crazy part was like, you in the corner you would like face if you teched forward, you would like face through her, but the command grab would still catch you from behind.
Ooh.
So it's like, what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
So now they nerfed that, and that was a warranted nerf because that was BS. But overall, I think Ino got buffed. I think she's considered upper mid right now, and yeah, I don't think she's going to change too much in the tier list. Like, she's probably going to go up slightly, based on those buffs and like the changes other characters got. So yeah, that's basically all she got. Moving on to Bedman. Oh man, rip Bedman.
Fuck this character.
These changes are so bad for Bedman. First one is his forward dash. So his forward dash right now, it's a counter move. So like when he forward dashes, if you hit Bedman during the duration, he like teleports behind you. So what they changed is they changed the startup, so it's faster now, but they shortened the counter window. So the window on where you can activate that counter where he teleports behind you is smaller, and the overall duration of the dash is shortened.
Okay.
So kind of like buff nerf overall.
Okay.
His crouching hurt box size has been decreased, so it's kind of like Potemkin. This is a pretty big nerf he got. His 2H and 3H no longer launches on hit. They don't cause that float state. So that's a pretty big nerf, because he could confirm from like full screen off of this into like air task C, I think, the one where he spins around. So that's a pretty big nerf on him. His 6H has been replaced with new normal. So his 6H right now is like Berserker Slash. He just teleport. He kind of moves. He has like the startup animation, and then he ends up behind you.
And then hits
so it's like
you.
Berserker Slash.
Yeah.
You could hit him out of it if you time it properly, or you could just throw him out of it. So there were like direct counters to it. But yeah this thing was annoying to deal with, because he go like try jump on you, and then he does 6H for a cross up, and you're like, oh god damn it, right?
Yeah.
So now it's a forward moving attack where he just kind of punches at you, and if you mash H, you can get it up to like 4 hits. So basically, instead of Berserker Slash, he got Swiss cheese.
Nice.
It's so bad. Like, oh my god, funny. It's so bad. He had a Gatling route where he can go 2k into 5H. They got rid of that, and it's like, what? Why?
That's funny.
So less combo potential now. But he did get 2 buffs. So first buff is he can follow up his air throw if you Roman cancel it, so he gets a combo now. And his Deja Vu special. So Deja Vu is like a mechanic specific to Bedman, where he does a special move and it creates an icon. And if you do the reversed input of that special move, so say you had quarter circle forward slash, and if you go quarter circle back slash, it replays that special move like as a shadow copy of him. So it would be like a copy of that special move that's independent of Bedman. So he could create Oki, pressure, and zoning from this. But you could only activate this while he's on the ground. The buff that he got is now he can activate Deja Vu while he's in the air.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, like, looks like they're buffing his zoning game, maybe some buffs to Oki. But overall, like, Bedman got nerfed hard in this location test. I don't know why they did it, why they nerfed them so hard. But I'm hoping like these aren't all the changes that they're going to do to Bedman. I'm hoping location test 2 he gets some positive changes, or some of these changes get reverted, because right now it's like rip Bedman.
Okay.
So right now in the tier list he's actually considered upper mid or high tier. But obviously after if these changes stick, he's like gonna be bottom tier.
Oh no! Poor Bedman.
Yeah. Rip Bedman. Rip 6H. Moving on to Ramlethal,
Mm-hmm.
she got 2 new specials. That's
Okay.
it.
What?
Her that's the only changes she got. Two
That's
new
fun.
specials. So she needs the swords equipped. So she gets a special move with the S sword equipped, and she gets a special move with the H sword equipped.
Okay.
They don't address any of her problems. Like right now, Ramathal's neutral is bad because they nerfed her sword deploys. Before you could send the swords out, like Ramathal is a mechanic where if she goes forward or down and slash and heavy slash, she sends one of her swords out and they attack in a specific trajectory. So it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like a zoning tool used for Oki, used for combos. Like they're like a core aspect
Mm-hmm.
of her gameplay. Um, in Sign, in one of the updates to Sign, they nerfed the swords and sword deploys where you could actually hit the sword and they would deactivate the attack.
Mm-hmm.
So that impacted her neutral game a lot. Like it made her neutral so hard. So
Okay.
she went from like being top tier in Sign to bottom tier.
Oh wow.
And the 2 new specials that she got, it's like the Japanese said it's so hard to combo into it. Like it doesn't combo from her far slash at all.
Hmm.
So it's like really hard to combo into it, and even if you combo into it, you don't really get a whole lot. Like it doesn't start her juggle combos or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't really address her neutral game. So like it doesn't change anything for Ramlethal.
They'll probably add more to her in the next little
I'm
test.
hoping so. I'm really
Yeah.
hoping so, because right now like this is like nothing.
Yeah,
It's
she was
kinda-
originally
it's
one
like
of
a
your
spit.
mains, right? So.
Yeah, she was my original main.
Yeah.
The only thing I can see with the new special moves is because they're with the sword equipped, and she only gains meter when she does a sword attack.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna gain meter from these specials, so maybe she gets a buff to meter gain as a result, but like minor overall. So I don't think like she's bottom tier right now, and she's gonna stay bottom tier if these changes stick.
Oh no.
Um, But also, like, her Supe setup got nerfed because the wall splat nerf I mentioned is system mechanics,
Oh
not
yeah,
wall
and
splat
a
nerf.
lot of her
Like,
stuff is
throw
wall splat.
yeah. So, removing that setup, like, it's a minor nerf because not many people used it in the first place. They used
Mm-hmm.
it as, like, the threat of it for other mix-ups, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, I don't really see much improvement with Ramlethal with these 2 new specials. Okay, so moving on to Sin. Um, got a kind of mixed bag of changes here. His backdash has less invulnerability frames, which is an unwarranted nerf because that thing is like fully invincible for a long time, and
Oh,
he
okay.
moves really far on his backdash. Like, it's really annoying. It's like pot level backdash. No reason why that character should have that kind of
Okay.
backdash.
Uh-huh.
This one's a little bit of a bigger nerf. 6P is no longer jump cancelable, but they increase the
What?
untechable time on it.
Okay.
But it's like not too major because you could always cancel or Gatling 6P into close slash. And it would
Oh.
combo regularly, so
Oh, okay.
and they increase the untechable times, so I don't see this impacting him too much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean jump obviously no longer being able to jump cancel is a nerf,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it'll impact him too much. His eat mechanic, so where he eats to gain his calorie meters back, you can mash H and he like eats again. So it's kind of like useful if you hit them with Beak Driver and you like really knock them far back. You can eat mash H and get more calories that
Instead of
way.
just eating
So,
twice. Yeah.
yeah, so I think this is like a slight buff.
Okay.
His leap, he can cancel into a special while he's rising from the leap. So that's another good buff that he got.
Okay.
But it's like kind of minor.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, it's like a mixed bag here of nerfs and buffs, but it's not changing his strengths at all. Like he's still gonna have really good neutral, and he's still gonna shit out damage. Like
Yeah.
none of that's changing. So I think overall, like Sin remains more or less the same.
And he was top tier, right?
Yeah, he was top tier. He got a lot of nerfs after Evo, but he's still like a strong character. And like Machibu won that Arxis tournament recently using Sin. So like Sin's still a strong character, and I don't think any of these changes are really going to impact that.
Okay.
Moving on to Elphelt. Yeah, they kind of nerfed Elphelt again.
Again.
Yeah,
But she was still
her
good after she got nerfed, right? So.
She got lower on the tier list.
Oh,
for sure.
okay.
She wasn't nowhere near as dominating. So her defense modifier has been decreased slightly, meaning she's going to take more damage now.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make any sense why she had that defense modifier like that. Like she'd take less damage than most other characters.
Okay.
Her 5H, so that's the one where she just shoots her gun. If you keep pressing H, she
The
fires
cable
more
gun.
shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it no longer causes a knockdown on hit, but now you can special cancel at any point. So
Hmm.
before, like currently, you could only special cancel after the first hit, but now you can special cancel after any hit. But they lowered the attack levels on the subsequent hits,
Mm-hmm.
and attack levels determines like your frame advantage on hit and block. So I think this is kind of like it's going to impact some matchups, but overall, if you can cancel it at any point, you could cancel into like grenade, or you can cancel into bridal express earlier. Like maybe after 2 hits or 3 hits, you could cancel into bridal express to still get a knockdown.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're too far off, then you could cancel into like grenade or shotgun stance or rifle or whatever like that. So maybe more neutral focused.
Mm-hmm.
Her jump S hitbox has been reduced, and this is a warranted nerf because she could instant air dash jump S and it would overhead on a lot of characters.
Okay.
And it was like, why do you get it like basically an instant overhead off of an instant air dash? So she does like a block string and then she instant air dash JS.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like overhead. And you're like, what the fuck? It's so fast.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
she would like combine it with like her grenade pulls and stuff like that to like land and then go low.
Oh wow.
So she had like a really she had a good mix-up game off of it. Like good, not mix-up, but like good pressure off of it.
Okay.
So they nerfed that, but they buffed her jump H hitbox. So now the jump H hitbox has been increased.
Okay.
Her shotgun H. So when she's in the shotgun stance and she pushes H, she just does a quick shot.
Mm-hmm.
The uncharged version has more pushback on it.
Hmm.
So it like blows them, like it blows them away more. Like like this is kind of a semi-warranted nerf because her corner pressure with the shotgun stance is very oppressive.
Okay.
Like it was really hard to get out of it. She could keep you in that corner so much, and she had so many options with the shotgun stance. But they did nerf it slightly in after Evo,
Mm-hmm.
and this is like another big nerf to it. So it's kind of like it hurts. It hurts her for sure.
Okay.
The next change they did is they nerfed the unblockable. So her rifle, when she holds it in one position, the reticle grows and it becomes an unblockable hit.
Oh.
So what they did is they actually increased the amount of time to charge it to that unblockable hit. So right now, her current unblockable setups don't really work.
Wow.
And some of it was kind of BS though. She had like a combo where she'd like have the grenade, she'd jump back and hit D, jump D to cause a knockdown, and then throw the grenade. And then she had enough time to like run up slightly, pull the rifle out, and get an unblockable. So I'm sure there was ways you could set it up using meter. So if you roam and cancel stuff like that, I'm sure you can compensate for the increased charge time to get the unblockable. So I would be okay if she could still get unblockable setups by spending meter, rather than what it is right now where she can get unblockable setups without spending meter and then get a full combo conversion off of it.
Oh, okay.
So I think this is kind of a warranted nerf, but like with all the nerfs she got, this like some of it seems a little bit overkill, but this one's a warranted nerf.
Okay.
So overall, they nerfed Elphelt's offensive game, but they didn't really buff much to her, to be honest. Like the 5H is kind of like a buff and nerf. It doesn't really change anything, and then everything else is like nerfs. So she's gonna be more neutral focused rather than like super rush down offensive phase. Like she had strong neutral and strong offense originally, and it was like so oppressive. And then they kind of nerfed her neutral tools and slightly nerfed her pressure game. Now it's like we're nerfing her offensive game even further. So like if these changes stick, yeah, Elphelt's going down in the tier list.
Wow. Okay.
So moving on to Leo, didn't get too many changes. But yeah, the big one is his 6P no longer has upper body invulnerability. Instead, it has armor. against high and mid attacks.
Yeah.
And it also kind of knocks the opponent away at like a 40-degree angle on hit, and you can't really combo off of it without a Roman cancel.
Really? So.
Yeah.
Well, but as an anti-air, can you follow up?
No, it blows them away.
Weird.
So it's like it's a nerf, but you could use it as against like corner situations where if you do a combo and they kind of like tech out.
Yeah.
Most people tech into buttons, right?
Yeah.
And because when you tech, you have slight invulnerability, it's really annoying to deal with. So you'd have to time like your 6p accordingly.
Yeah.
But with the like armor, it's more relaxed on the timing. So that could be a buff to him. But at the same time, like not being able to combo off of that 6p is a big nerf as well.
Yeah.
So all his Gatling routes to 6p, except for 5p and 2p, have been removed. So it's like some of his more optimized combos are gone. Again, it's a nerf, and I don't know why they did that.
Weird.
And then the other nerf he got is his 5H has an increased hurt box. That 5H, it's like a huge swing, and it led into a good starter for him. And that thing had a lot of range on it. Okay. So I think the hurt box is just to kind of make certain characters be able to deal with Leo's neutral a little bit better. I wouldn't say it was completely warranted, but it's like not surprising. But honestly, like I don't see that impacting Leo too much. Like it's like the equivalent of the nerfs Johnny got on his long range pokes. It just increased the hurt box. So like there are going to be some scenarios where you're going to get counter hit that you normally wouldn't have, but overall the application of 5H is going to be the same. So like it's not going to deter people from using 5H any differently than they are now.
Okay.
So overall, Leo got nerfed.
Yeah,
but
you
it's
just
like,
told me nerfs. Yeah.
But not severe. I don't think it's enough to kill the character. But yeah, he was kind of lacking. Not lacking. He had some problem matchups. Like right now, he has some problem matchups, and none of this really changes anything. In fact, it probably hurts him a little bit. But overall, I mean, he's still going to be the same. Like,
where was he?
I don't think he's. He was like definitely in the mid. I think he was just like right in the middle of the pack here.
Okay.
And I don't see that changing. Next character is Johnny, and they're very minor changes. So first one is a buff. Bacchus Sai, which is the miss that causes the next misfiner to be unblockable. So now it causes like for sure guaranteed chip damage even if they flawless defense it. And the pushback after the misfiner has been removed. And this is a really good buff for Johnny. Because basically, in Revelator 1 pre-patch, Johnny was the best character in the game because he could create an unblockable situation, full combo, and then create the unblockable situation again. So he could loop it.
Wow.
And then after Evo, they nerfed it. So instead of the Misfinder getting the full property, it would actually cause a stagger state. And it was really easy to like mash out of the stagger. So he could, and because of the pushback that after the Misfinder, he couldn't combo off of it unless you did it point blank or you Roman canceled afterwards. So now that they got rid of the pushback, it's possible that he might get a meaningful combo off of it. But it won't be as severe as what it was before.
So it's improved, it's just not as crazy as it originally was.
Yeah, so I could see this potentially bringing back that unblockable meta again, but not to the extreme that it was in version 1 of Revelator.
Okay.
The next change he got is a nerf. His Zweihander, the attack level has been lowered, but I'm not sure by how much. But this was kind of warranted because Zweihander YRC is so degenerate. It puts them in so much block stun that it forces a very simplistic mix-up game of either low air dash, like late air dash into overhead, or empty low. And it's just like he could ignore neutral sometimes just by doing Zwei YRC.
Did he? Is that the one where he throws that thing downwards?
Yeah, so it's like a fire pillar straight down.
Yeah. Okay.
So that move is so good.
Okay.
But like I don't see this impacting, like if you do Zwei block string Zwei transport into Zweihander wire C, because you're doing it, the wire C is so low to the ground. I feel like that part's is not going to change. Like the mix-up game after that is not going to change. You're still going to have late air dash or empty low, or depending on how you space it, you can go air backdash for sort of like a pseudo cross-up. But what I see this affecting is in the corner where he does a normal or super jump into the Zweihander wire C. They already confirmed in the arcades that if he tries to do for the late air dash mix-up, you can actually chicken block it. So really all this means is that like Johnny has to hit a normal while he's coming down, and if he's using jump H, he can still miss cancel it into late air dash or empty low. Or like air dash normal, like JK, miss cancel, and then low. So like it just means he has to do something else to create the mix-up. So overall, like Johnny got buffed at a very slight nerf. So Johnny's like still the same, maybe slightly better. So he's top tier now. He's gonna be top tier still.
Of course, and you'll still be using him probably.
Yeah.
Cool.
I might use Biken, who knows. Okay, so moving on to Jacko.
Jacko.
Yeah, Jacko got nerfed hard. Like, this might be Rip Jacko.
Rip. Jacko.
So Jacko's mechanic is she'd lay these houses down and they would spawn minions. And the minions would level up as the houses level up and do more hits, take more hits, and stuff like that. So they had different levels, 1 through 3. When the minions get hit at levels 1 and 2, they're dead. That's the change. That is so big, because before it would take multiple hits to get rid of the minions. But now one hit, they kill the minions. It's like Rip Jacko, because now projectiles, like horizontal projectiles or projectile wire C, are going to clear out the minions. Doing block strings is going to clear out the minions at level 1 and 2. Like this was like kind of an annoying matchup for Johnny, because he had to like focus on getting rid of the houses and he couldn't really get rid of the minions. But because Johnny normals are so big horizontally, this change means he's just gonna do a block string and there goes the minions. Like, oh my god, this matchup is now like so good for Johnny now.
Jeez.
The projectile thing, you can sort of mitigate it if Jacko puts up the shield, because when she has the shield up, it nullifies all projectiles. So she can still do that, but still, that's still big nerf for her. But the other changes she got is like her explosion cooldown has been reduced. So explosion is like when she activates explosion, it starts a 3-second timer on the minions and the houses, and then after 3 seconds, they all explode. So it's like it forced a reaction from the opponent.
Yeah.
Or put them in lockdown stuff. You can recall the houses if you want to keep their levels and then redeploy them. But the minions would still have the countdown timer.
What, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So the cooldown being reduced means that you can use explosion a lot more. But it was like, it's kind of risky, because if you don't recall the houses, you're gonna lose all those levels that you've gained with it.
Oh, okay.
But the other change they did is actually pretty significant in conjunction with explosion. The minions are invincible during explosion cooldown. So it's kind of like a shift. I can see them like shifting the way Jacko's to be played, right? They want people to use explosion more to make the minions invincible during the cooldown and kind of gain levels that way. And so they're kind of, it looks like they're experimenting with the way Jacko needs to be played with minions, because right now nobody uses explosion. It's like too risky, right? Because you lose house levels or you have to recall them and all this stuff. Like it's not a very good move. But now like the changes here, it kind of is like you're forced to use explosion to make the minions invincible.
Okay.
But as it stands, like I think these are really bad changes to Jacko. Like the minion nerf is pretty huge.
Damn.
So I'm hoping they make some more tweaks in location tests too, or people give some feedback to say like, hey, this minion nerf is too harsh. But we'll see what they do. Moving on to sorry, tier list. Right now, Jacko got a lot of nerfs after Evo. So she's kind of like, I'd say she's like low mid to mid, and if these changes stick, she's bottom tier.
She's Rip.
She's Rip. She's like with Bedman.
That's funny.
So next character is Jam, and she barely got any changes. Her parry into punch follow-up can be cancelled into immediately, so slight buff. But if you don't hit like forward while doing that input, the
Mm-hmm.
timing to get the punch follow-up is still the same.
Okay.
So it's like whatever, kind of minuscule buff. So the next change she got is her slash puffball. So like the puffball that's not a cross up has a stronger blowback effect on it. So that might be a slight nerf because it depends on like if you can still get your combo follow ups as is.
Okay.
And then her super where she creates that big puffball around her, like kind of like Chun-Li's
Oh yeah, yeah,
Kikosho
yeah, yeah,
in Marvel
yeah.
series. That has increased throw vulnerability on it now. So if she did it point blank to you, you could throw her out of it.
I see a lot of
Now,
like players just do it randomly, like on wake up.
well, they do it like in pressure, so it's like a
Oh,
throw bait tool.
okay.
Throw bait or like wake up reversal or something like that.
Yeah.
Or people who want to mash on wake up, they would do that because there's like plus frames. They could wire see it too and then go for mix ups afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did it too close, you could throw her out of it. So that, like, it's a minuscule buff, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So really, like, Jam didn't receive anything major.
Mm-hmm.
She's like low tier, low mid, and none of that's really changed.
But she was in
So
a
they didn't
really
really.
bad spot when she first.
When she first came out, she
Yeah.
was so bad, and
Yeah.
then she got buffed after Evo. Like she got some good buffs after Evo,
Yeah.
but she still like kind of struggles in neutral and stuff like that.
Okay.
And none of these changes really address her problems.
Gotcha.
So I don't think Jam's changing in the tier list at all.
Okay.
Maybe slightly better because of everyone certain character nerfs, but
Yeah.
like whatever. Moving on to Raven. This is another character that might be RIP.
Oh no, more rip.
Yeah. So his 6P is no longer jump cancelable.
Oh no. Him
And
too?
yeah, like so as an anti-air, this is bad because he anti-airs and then he can't combo off of it because he had no normal that really would hit at that height.
Mm-hmm.
So he might have to just like go hope for the counter hit and then combo into like command grab or something like that, or
Okay.
maybe some other confirm. But at the same time, it might be a little bit warranted because his forward dash was fully invincible after a certain frame point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people, when they recover from his forward dash, they go into 6P, which is upper body invulnerability. So you're going to an invincible dash to an upper body invulnerable poke. So it's kind of like, well, that's kind of stupid, right?
Okay.
And then it's like, oh, did it hit or block? And then they can confirm or jump cancel afterwards, right?
Mhm.
So I could see like maybe that's why they nerfed it.
Mhm.
But anti-air, it's like it hurts his anti-air damage, right? Because he anti-air, jump cancel, full combo,
Mhm.
get a knockdown, slow them down, stuff like that. The next change he has is pretty severe. So it kind of ties into his excitement mechanic.
Mhm.
So he had a stance that would build up a separate meter, and it's called the excitement meter. If he got hit in his stance, it had like armor properties on it, and it would raise his excitement meter even further. But he would take gray damage or like red. The bar would flash red,
Mhm.
but it's like the equivalent of Street Fighter 5's gray damage.
Yeah.
So if he got hit afterwards, he would lose all that red light.
But it slowly
But
regenerates too, right?
No, it wouldn't. Well, yeah, if you leave the red life and after a certain amount of time, it would like replenish.
Yeah.
And so the excite mechanic would actually augment his special. So like with his command grab, he could combo out of it. His fireball would gain more attack levels. His scratch special would have a different effect on hit and stuff like that,
Mhm.
based on like how far you're on the levels. So they're making some changes to his specials to kind of coincide with the excite mechanic to make it more noticeable. Because right now, like the changes are very subtle, and you don't really see people use it too much. So his fireball, this is the nerf that he got. His fireball at excitement levels 0 to 2 only does 2 hits now. So this is a big nerf to him because right now the fireball does 3 hits.
Mhm.
So his game plan is like get a knockdown, throw the fireball on top of them, run a mix-up.
Yeah.
So when they wake up, they have to block the fireball. 3 hits is just enough to get a mix-up going. But now that it's 2 hits, he can't get a mix-up going.
Oh no.
But when he gets to excitement levels 3 to 5, it does 3 hits.
Oh, okay.
So it's back to normal, back to what it was now.
Yeah.
And then anything above level 5, it does 4 hits. So then he gets a buff that way.
Okay.
But yeah, it means right now like he can't get his Oki started in the early game, and he has to focus on getting excitement levels now. So this is going to impact how he's played during the beginning stages of the match.
Okay.
His scratch move, his scratch special has a different start based on his excitement level. I think it goes from 17 frames to 15 frames at like the highest level or something like that.
Okay. It's more combos or?
I think it means far slash into scratch against a crouching character would now combo.
Okay.
So it's like minor. So yeah, Raven's changes seem kind of incomplete to me, and they need like further tweaking. I can see why they nerfed the fireball. Like basically they were kind of saying, okay, we want to emphasize getting excitement meter.
Yeah.
Because right now like barely anybody uses it, and like the only reason why they would use it is like for the command grab thing. But most people don't like being able to combo off the command grab because you're sacrificing Oki for damage.
Interesting. Yeah,
so yeah, it really depends on how much excitement meter he gains or how fast he can get to level 3. But it really changes the dynamic of Raven, and I think these are bad, like big nerfs to him overall.
Okay.
Even Dogra says he's like, sorry guys, I think I'm dropping Raven.
Wow.
But I'm really hoping Location Test 2 they give him some other changes to balance this out.
So where was he on the tier list?
You know, I'm not sure. Like, I'm gonna say middle of the pack. He's kind of an annoying character to deal with. You have to really do your homework against him. And certain characters, like Faust, had a really hard time versus him. Like, his Oki game is really annoying, but the problem is it did, like, barely any damage. So he'd have to, like, open you up 7 times to, like, kill you. So it's like, okay, now it's like, oh man, it's harder to get into that Oki situation. Okay, so moving on to Coom, very minor changes. These are all quality of life changes. So he had a special move where he kind of kicks diagonal up, and it would like it's like a charged move, right? So you go, what was it? DP into kick, and you hold the kick, and then you hit back, and then it would give you this particular special, and it wall bounces, right? So he could do this like 2 or 3 times, and then jump up, juggle into a knockdown, and then set up Oki from there. Now all they change is like you can slightly delay the back input, and you still get that version of the special. So it's a quality of life change. It's just easier execution. And there's like more blowback on the hit itself. So I don't really know the impact of that change. Maybe it will like be easier to like wall bounce with it, but it's already pretty easy to wall bounce with it as well, as it is right now. So again, quality of life change. So Coom didn't receive any buffs. These are all just to make him a little bit easier to use, so it doesn't change him in the tier list. I think he's like probably low mid right now, and that's not really going to change unless like everyone else nerfs bumps him up. Again, it seems kind of incomplete. I think they might change him in Location Test 2. We'll see. All right, now we're at the last character, Dizzy.
Dizzy.
Yeah, Dizzy got more buffs.
More buffs now. Okay.
Yeah.
She was in a tough spot at the start, I think, right?
Yeah, she was really bad at the start of her release after Evo, and then they buffed her, and then they buffed her again in this Location Test. So her box on various normals have been decreased in size, so that's a buff because it's harder to like counter poke her or counter hit her. Her, let's see, I don't want to go over all of her changes because that's too much. Her bubbles, so she had like a water bubble and a fire bubble. They don't go off screen when they reach the corner. They actually now bounce off the corner.
Oh, weird. Okay.
It is weird, right?
That's
I could
weird,
see like
man.
some interesting kind of setups and pressure in the corner now. So I like that change.
Cool.
Her ice spike and flame pillar won't go off screen.
Oh, so if you're in the
So
corner, it will just be right where they're in the corner and against the wall.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
good. Really good change.
So that's a good change. Let's see. Her Ice Spear and Fire Spear have a larger hitbox on them. So that's the move where she would create like a small like dagger or spear, and then they go straight up and then follow the opponent up to a certain point. So larger hitbox are good because they're pretty easy to maneuver around right now. Her Ice Spear also rises faster after startup. So I could see this being better as like if they're directly above you, I could see this like being a better anti-air-ish thing. The Fire Spear. So if you hold the Fire Spear, it would create 3, and then she would launch them. So the attack level for the second spear has been increased. So basically more frame advantage.
Okay.
Her Air S and H fish. So she would summon like what we call like they look like sort of like fish, I guess. They're like weird plant-looking thing. It has like a tail, and then there's like they would have different attack stones. Some would bite, some would shoot lasers. So the aerial fish that shoot lasers, the hitboxes come out faster. So that's a nice buff to them.
Cool.
And then her D fish is a counter fish. So it would like create a fish that would have like a weird shield on it, and then if you hit the fish with during the shield, it would home in on you and attack.
Yeah.
So now it tracks the opponent vertically when performing that follow-up attack. So it has better tracking basically. So that's a nice. It's a minor buff, but it's still nice. And that's pretty much all the changes I want to go over with Dizzy. So overall, she got buffed again.
Yeah, again.
And I could see her going up in the tier list slightly with these changes.
Cool.
They're kind of minor, but they're still good. They're still beneficial.
Yeah. It's good. Dizzy's a really popular character. So.
Yeah, and she was in that rough spot at the beginning, so it's nice to see her get buffed a little bit here. And that's it. That's all the characters.
Oh my god. We are finally done. That was... Man, we haven't done a long video like this in a long time, man. Yeah. A long ass time. Well, I'm sure, Killy, you're going to keep us updated on the next look test if they add more notes and stuff. And for everyone who's watched this video, thanks for taking the time to watch that. But, you know, the timestamps will make it easier for everyone. So, yeah, we'll keep you posted on more Guilty Gear news. Anything you want to close off with, Killy? For Guilty Gear?
Yes. I don't know when the video is going to get released, probably on the weekend, but Frosty Faustings is this weekend. And if this video gets released on Saturday, it means singles have started.
Okay.
So definitely check out that tournament. I went last year. It's an amazing tournament. And like the brackets are stacked this year. Dogura's going, Goichi's going. So we'll see. Oh, Zidane just went last minute because he got donations to go. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty crazy tournament.
Okay. All right, man. Thanks for your help, Killy, as usual. And till next time, guys. Take care.
Later.